So now that the new season of Delta Force has been out for a little bit over a week, it's time for the seasonal map tier list. We unfortunately didn't get a new map per se with the launch of the new season of Delta Force, but they did add a nighttime mode to trench lines, so that map is also going to be included in the tier list. This is a very subjective opinion on all of the different maps. Yours will more than likely vary from mine, and that's completely fine. I'll leave a link in the description down below if you want to go and make your own tier list, or even share what you think of all these different maps that we have available in Warfare. So we're going to start off with Ascension. Unfortunately, Ascension it's not a great map. All the vehicles have angles on most of the points, and it's very easy to get killed when you're playing as infantry, and same thing honestly when you're playing as a vehicle. You can get shot from multiple different angles. The playable area should be adjusted so that it allows players to actually go and hunt those vehicles that are kind of camping out of bounds and just being a general nuisance to the entirety of the map. So yeah, unfortunately, Ascension is going to have to go in F tier as it did in the last video. It's just not a great map, and I'd rather play literally any other map but this one. For Cracked, I've always enjoyed Cracked. There's a few little adjustments that they would need to make to the playable area in order to mitigate the issue of, again, vehicles camping in the out of bounds area or the uncapped area, making them very difficult to kill for infantry players and even for vehicles like helicopters flying over, because oftentimes, especially on the A side, you'll find the AA camping on the hill, having free reign over pretty much the entirety of the map, and then whenever the chopper tries to go destroy it, it probably will get killed unless it's a really good chopper player. So it's just annoying to have those vehicles being completely unchallenged in the out of bounds area like that. Well, they need to readjust the vehicle versus infantry balance, and maybe implement some type of ammo restriction, forcing the vehicles to go back to base or something, and not just wipe an entire map worth of infantry non-stop and go like 100-0. It just doesn't make sense. And yeah, the vehicular versus infantry gameplay is really not ideal. And Cracked, unfortunately, it is a great map, but that is just holding it back. I'll still put it in A tier because I really do enjoy a lot of the areas of Cracked. It's just in those areas that are unplayable where vehicles can't need to be addressed, and it would be just, you know, a pretty decent map overall. Now, Knife Edge, it released last season. I wasn't a fan. I'm starting to warm up a little bit to it. The map itself feels overly complicated, where you have a lot of paths that lead to weird areas or that go up and down, and it's just confusing overall as a map. They could just streamline how many lanes there are. I don't mind having some going up and down, but when you're going down a path and then you expect to go into a certain area of the map and then you end up in a completely different area, it just feels a little bit muddied in terms of gameplay experience and map flow. But I am warming up to it, and there's a lot of pretty cool plays you can make when combining the verticality, especially on the left side of the map, if you can say so. If you're like spawning at A facing E, it's the left, and then obviously if you're spawning at E facing A, it's on the right. But that outside area is quite fun to play in when you are able to get those nice plays like jumping off the stairs and catching people by surprise, and then mixing in some zipline gameplay as well. It can be a fun experience, but the map itself just needs to be a little bit like just dialed in terms of flow, and there's a lot of areas that you feel that you should be able to go into that you can't, which is just weird. Knife Edge is going to be upgraded, I think, to B, just because I've been having a little bit more fun than I did last season. But yeah, I don't think I can put it much higher than B. Shafted is probably one of my favorite maps in Delta Force. Now, it's not a great map by any means. I just like the infantry versus infantry gameplay that the map provides. They did open it up last season to allow more lanes and more flanking opportunities, but then they implemented this stupid construction system on this map, which doesn't have its place in Shafted, because then it just closes off lanes that they had just opened up. So it's kind of like a mixed bag. I still really enjoy Shafted. I have a lot of fun in there, getting some sick flanks. So I'm going to put it at A. Last season I put it at B. I think it's still a solid map, but they just need to really adjust or remove the construction system completely to prevent some paths from being completely blocked off and then having choke points in certain specific areas of the map. I still think it's a pretty solid map, but yeah, it just needs a few adjustments here and there. Threshold, I'm liking it more and more. Unfortunately, what's holding it back is the choke point on Charlie, and if you don't have a helicopter pilot that's willing to drop people off on either side of the map, it can get quite grindy in terms of like just banging your head against the wall trying to get through Charlie. So I think that's the one thing that's holding it back. I do enjoy playing infantry on this a lot because there's a lot of opportunities for you to outmaneuver and outplay your opponents, which is what I really enjoy, and even outflank. So on the B flag, you can actually go out of bounds and then come back in on the other side to completely forego any combat that's happening in that area and just completely outmaneuver your enemies. Don't know whether it should be left this way or not. I'm just saying how I enjoy playing this map. But yeah, if they could address that choke point on Charlie, I think it would be a lot more enjoyable as an experience, because this map has a lot going for it. There's just enough verticality to make it interesting, but not so much so that you're just getting shot from a million different angles all the time. So yeah, definitely enjoy Threshold, enjoying it more lately. So I'm gonna put Threshold on B. I think they did make a change in attack and defend mode where there can be a destruction event happening over at Charlie, but I don't really play AD, so I can't speak on that. Trainwreck's kind of pissing me off lately. I enjoyed it when it launched, but I'm starting to see like the cracks with Trainwreck. It's just the flags are oddly positioned, and vehicles again have free reign over most of the map, maybe except Charlie and possibly B1, but for the rest of the map, vehicles can pester. And unfortunately, a lot of classes in the game don't have a reliable way to take out vehicles. They just don't have a way to take out vehicles at all, which makes playing anything else than like engineer or 2 out of the 3 assault classes, albeit I don't know why they nerfed Viren's magnetic bombs. I think they were completely fine doing how much damage they did to vehicles, because it is difficult enough approaching a vehicle and then getting 2 magnetic bombs off on them. It just feels bad to do only like 6. I think it's 35 per magnetic bomb, so 70 damage to a tank. Albeit a tank, it is a sturdy vehicle. It might make sense for the magnetic bombs to do only 35 damage, but like an LEV or an IFV, AA, all that stuff, I think 2 magnetic bombs should almost destroy it or destroy it completely, just to balance out the vehicle versus infantry gameplay. So yeah, I digress. If you're playing anything else than assault or engineer on this map, it's not a fun experience. Like medic is, yeah, you literally can't do anything against vehicles, and that's, I think, probably one of the biggest downfalls of Delta Force is you have so many classes that just have 0 ways to deal with vehicles, and considering that there are arguably a lot of vehicles on the map at any given time, playing those 2 classes on those maps that aren't infantry only kind of feels like a slog. So unfortunately, Trainwreck I think is going to have to go down to C tier. Really not a fan of it. Been leaving it more often than not when I'm not playing graded. Just because I don't know, I just haven't been vibing with that map. Moving on to trench lines, so they did make a change in trench lines with this new season. They added a complete new flag. So between Echo and Bravo before, there used to be nothing where that AA gun is. Now there's a flag there, which is great. So it adds a little bit more diversity and less areas of the map that are just completely unused. So that flag's now Delta, and Delta is now Foxtrot. So that's great having a brand new flag here. It also prevents like stalemates of the game just not moving forward on either side because they have even number of flags. So before there was a total of 6 flags, with Charlie being like 1 sector, but if either team owned 1 Charlie flag, it could technically be a standstill if they both own their gimme flags, so it would progress the match very slowly. They did, however, add a lot more armored vehicles on this map. I have absolutely no idea why. I don't know if they just forgot to check a box or they put the wrong number in an input box somewhere to dictate how many armored vehicles there are, but it is just insane how many vehicles there are in trench lines right now. And again, coming back to the vehicle versus infantry gameplay balance, it just feels very bad to play anything other than a class that can deal with vehicles. I mean, sure, you have the turrets, like the turrets that allow you to damage vehicles, but they just do so little damage that they're basically a moot point, right? Trench lines, I had it a little bit higher last season. I'd put it at A tier. I think I might put it on B tier. I still enjoy the map, but recently I haven't been playing it much, or haven't wanted to play it much, because every time you queue in, there's like a probably 70% chance they're going to get Trench Lines Night, which is what we're getting to right now. So Trench Lines Night is the quote-unquote new map of the season. So basically they just you know, reduce the brightness and increase the contrast of the map, or whatever it is they did. They added night vision devices that are a purchase option that cost 1,000 points, that doesn't even last all games, so it has a limited amount of time that you can have night vision on, which is just a head scratcher. Why make a nighttime map and not have night vision be available throughout the entirety of the match? You have to purchase it every time it runs out. It's just weird. And also it's capped at 20v20, but it has the same amount of vehicles as Trenchline's regular. So for the most part, the whole team could technically be in vehicles at any given time, and there's just no reward to destroying a vehicle in Trenchline's Night, because as soon as you destroy it, 2 more will show up. I have no clue why they made these decisions for the Trenchline's Night mode. It really is just like, what the hell were they thinking? This stuff wasn't play tested. I wish they had a PTE or something, because they could get way more feedback before pushing these changes into the live game, because a lot of people would have probably said, dude, Trenchline's Night it's not it. Like 20v20 doesn't work. The map feels barren, but at the same time, considering there's so many vehicles, it feels way too crowded in terms of there's just vehicles everywhere, and there's no way that just a few engineers can take care of all those vehicles. And if one side just has a stronger player in the vehicles, then the other side is just going to get absolutely destroyed. So unfortunately, Trenchline's Night, it has to go in F tier. I don't find any enjoyment in this map at all. The only thing going for it is, oh, it's, you know, it's dusk. It's not even that dark, actually. I don't even use the night vision. I used it once only to see what it looked like, and I was like, oh, it doesn't even last all game. You have to purchase it every time, which is, again, a pretty odd decision. I do like the dusk appearance, albeit there might be a little bit too many particle effects throughout the map, but overall, that's pretty much all that's different from Trenchlines. It's just a worse version of Trenchlines because of the reduced player count and how many vehicles there are on the map, and not having access to night vision for the entirety of the game. But this is my Season 4 map tier list for Delta Force. Again, very, very subjective. This is just my opinion on all of these different maps and how I enjoy playing the game. Your opinion might differ. If you have a completely different playstyle than me, that's completely fine. But I want to know your opinion in the comment section down below. What do you think of the map selection in Warfare for Delta Force right now? Are you kind of getting tired of playing the same maps over and over again? Do you find yourself leaving matches when it's on a specific map? And most importantly, are you excited for new maps to come to the game? Because, yeah, I think as it stands, the map selection is kind of limited for a combined arms game like Delta Force. I know that they're working on 2 other maps, so one for Operations and one for Warfare. Don't know when those are coming out. The Warfare one's going to be like an island-themed map or something. So excited to get into those maps when they come out. But yeah, we don't officially know when they'll be released. But that's enough for today's video. I rambled on quite a bit on a few of these. Hit the like button if you enjoyed the video. Subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. And as always, thank you very much for watching. I really appreciate it. And I'll see you guys in the next video. Have a good one.